We like this idea of there is something really strong and powerful behind the curtains that is very evocative without really saying it. It was interesting to see people's reaction who were not there, they were not architects, they were just families coming for the weekend to see some courtyards, and they had a really simple, natural reaction to the installation, and that was really good. So this year the theme was sensuality. That's when we decided not to do it, basically, thinking, wow, this is going to be very literal, it's going to be very difficult to talk about sensuality in an architectural way. It took us, I think, a few weeks of discussion, of just trying to make fun of it, trying to go really to push it far, to actually realize that there was quite an interesting potential in sensuality. And then we watched this movie called Gatsby, and there's this amazing scene at the beginning when all the curtains of the room start to float around the space, and that's how you see for the first time the actress. The curtain is just, you know, sliding on her face, on her arm, and then she comes out and he looks at her and there's nothing else to say. So we started with fans, so we were thinking of a pedestal or something to hide some machinery below and have the curtains to blow as we wanted to. And then it happens that we thought it's losing all its authenticity of something that needs to happen as it should happen. And the other thing is the question of what we wanted to do with the curtains. So we looked at many different options, labyrinthic, that you walk around, something that was more horizontal layers. And in the end, we decided to have two different things. So this very rigid, simple form, the curtains, the square, and then have something that is much more human, that would be the journey through the curtains. The difficulty for us is we didn't want to see any structure. We wanted something really light, very simple. And when we decided to pick up this courtyard, what was really good is they had this grid over the windows, and these were ideal for us to hang some cables to be able then to suspend all the curtains. And that was the big difficulty, because we have a span of 14 meters, so there's the sag of the cable we had to take into account. There is a certain weight, the question of the kids who could just decide to pull out a curtain and just play Tarzan and all of that. So we had to show how we would do the process. We had to have it like some kind of double joint to really protect the fence and not touch it because it was listed. What was the most important for us is there are so many different curtains, so many different layers, that we didn't want something that after two curtains become completely plain. So it was getting the maximum of this transparency to get a bigger impact. But on the other hand, more you want to do that, more you end up almost with scaffolding netting, but then you lose completely the sensuality, so it's just plastic basically. We wanted this pure white, abstract, strong color, and we thought with the light it's going to be amazing, with this beige courtyard. And when they delivered it, they got it wrong, and we have something much more beige. Montpellier is in the south, so the light is very strong. So even on a kind of beigey color, it was really bright and strong, and it would really catch your attention, so it didn't need to be any whiter than that. So that's what interesting is to think of a site, to look at this site, to think of your intervention, and then the way that it turns out is never really what you were expecting, and that's the kind of thing you're here to learn. One thing we had to do when we started the project is to be very efficient and do it all in one go. So we went straight to Fourmieux, which is a small village where Gaétan is from, and we could use the village hall, which is a big space. We have all the village to help us out. They all came, even the mayor came to see us. And when we got the curtains, it was really difficult to deal with them, because we start to understand that this curtain is not just a flat surface, but depending on where you stretch it, it can become much longer or much wider, so you can't really base any of your dimension or any of your cuts on anything. So what we had to do, it almost killed our eyes, that to follow the grid of the netting was the easiest way to go straight. We calculate in the end that we've been just on our knees cutting the distance of the perimeter of a football pitch just doing that for like 2 days. Also, another big surprise, it turns out that once you suspend the curtains, they actually start to with their elasticity, they start to get longer and longer. So we make it 2.5. We come back morning after, and all the curtains are on the floor. So we spend the last night trying to take the entire grid and try to put some soap on the joints, so we would be able to push the structure to bring it on a higher level, but there was so much tension with this 12-meter span, so that I was starting to worry like some of them are going to break. We don't have any spare ones, so if we break one, that's it, we can just go home. And it turned out that like at 3 o'clock we managed to finally bring it up to the higher level. We managed to go up to 3.5 meters. And we just finished the installation. One of the lady who's living in the building comes in the courtyard. So we open the door, we see that she's a bit older. She's like, oh, this is amazing. And she started to tell us, so she was completely dressed up in white. She was in all like 80s or something. And she said, you know, there's two things I really love in my life. It's white and curtains. I've been working on curtains for 30 years. So she was an interior designer. There was a couple who got married on the Saturday. They heard about the curtains, so they came after the wedding, like all dressed up in white within the curtain to take some photos. There's a fashion designer. She thought it would be nice to do some pictures within the curtains. So we had all these stories. We could see the people, and that was good for us because it teaches you also humility, to not be too proud, to take the critics, which is also we really need to learn. To not be too precious about our own design, because people are not, and they just have simple reactions. In terms of what I learned from there that I can use in my job or what I'm doing here in Hassell is to really be confident in the fact that the excuse, I see it as an excuse of the budget, to say what can we do, there's not enough budget, we can't do it, is never right. That we managed in the end to get 30,000 people who came to visit our installation and all the others for a budget of £1,000. So if you do a space, a building, whatever, if you cannot find this £1,000 to do something exciting, it's your fault.